Welcome back, everybody. We are on day 3. I see your little one. Hi, Olivia. All right, everybody, let me get up here and share my screen with you guys for Facebook Groups Made Simple. We are back for day 3. So exciting because this is going to be our last day. We're going to kind of wrap it all up with you guys today in a bow. And let me know if you have any questions so far on anything that we've covered. I am going to pop back on next Monday. So I have family coming in this week, and I've got, it's Easter. So we have to celebrate Easter with our families. And I'm going to come back in on Monday, and the Facebook Live on Monday at 1 o'clock is going to be a bonus Q&A. So any questions that you have around Facebook groups, around anything that we covered in this 3-day little mini series on Facebook Groups Made Simple, you can join me inside the Zoom room, and I will be more than happy to answer any questions that you have. So for those of you that are watching inside of the Facebook group, if you go into the event page, you should be able to join the Zoom room. The passcode is SHINE, all capitals, S-H-I-N-E. So I would love to have you join me here in the Zoom room. That way I can see you and answer your questions directly. That is actually my favorite way to actually run these trainings, is actually to be able to see everybody. So if you do have, what day was that for the Q&A, Jessica says? It is Monday. So Monday at 1 o'clock. So every Monday at 1 o'clock, I do soulful business trainings for women wellness entrepreneurs, coaches, holistic practitioners. And so next Monday's soulful business training is going to be a bonus Q&A. So we're just going to kind of meet in the Zoom room. I will absolutely stream it to Facebook. It will go into the Abundant and Empowered Feminine Leaders group, which is where you are here. So if you have any questions, let me know in the comments today. Like if you have any specific questions that have come up, let me know. Or feel free to send me a personal message with any specific questions, and I will be able to answer those questions directly for you on Monday. So I will definitely be answering questions in the comments section on Facebook. But I would love to hear if there's anything specific that you want to join me in and ask any specific questions. It's always nice to be able to kind of see you and to be able to answer your questions directly. So we are on day 3. We've covered a lot of information in the past couple days. So we covered, why do we actually use Facebook as a community? Why do we even want to cultivate and build a community on Facebook? So that was on day 1. And we also focused on who are your ready as clients, as well as naming your Facebook group. And then yesterday, we talked about how you can actually set your Facebook group up properly. So we talked about the questions that you want to set up to make sure that only your ready as client is actually coming into your Facebook group. We don't want aunts, uncles, moms, dads, just friends, college friends, high school friends. We really want to reserve our Facebook group because it is a specific community in which you get to serve them really, really powerfully in your zone of genius. And you want to make sure that only your ideal client is there, because that actually affects the engagement and it affects the algorithm inside of Facebook. So we really only want our ready as ideal client that wants to learn what it is that you get to share with them. And then we also talked about creating content, and we are going to talk about nurture events today. Yesterday, we talked about 30 ways to fill your Facebook group with ready as clients. And I know that I went over 30, but I also created a free handout for any of you that want it. Just let me know, send me a personal message, pop it in the chat, say, send me the handout, and I will just drop you the PDF in Messenger. Totally no strings attached. It is just giving you the 30 different ways to actually fill your group with ready as clients. There's actually a lot more than 30 ways, but I'm giving you 30 ways. And I would love if you would let me know what is 1 to 5 different ways that you want to implement based on what it is that we've covered yesterday. So again, those 30 ways to fill your Facebook group we covered yesterday. So if you haven't seen that recording, go ahead and listen to it. It's really, really powerful. And then let me know what would be 1 to 5 different ways that you feel like you want to take action on. Because here's the thing, all of this information is fantastic, but until you actually take action on it, it's not going to work, right? It's not magical that way. We have to do the do, we have to do the doing, and we get to do that in a way that feels really good and heart-centered to us, really aligned. So that's why there's 30 different ways. You don't need to do all of them. I promise. I don't do all of them that are on there. I primarily build and cultivate community on Facebook, which means that I use all of the different ways in Facebook, my Facebook group, my Facebook page, my Facebook stories, other Facebook groups, Messenger. There's a lot of ways that you can use Facebook, but here's the thing, guys, we want to focus on one main platform and not get caught into a whole bunch of multiple directions. So you don't have to be on Pinterest and Instagram and Clubhouse and Facebook and all of the things, but you do need to focus on one. And the reason why I choose Facebook groups is because Facebook does groups the best. So let's dive into our last day, and we are going to talk about nurture events. So again, yesterday we talked about, leading authentically and why that's really important to lead authentically and to grow organically. But one thing that I don't think that I covered yesterday, and so I want to just kind of recap that, is that when you are growing organically and when you're leading authentically, the relationships that you're building are much more intimate, it's much more fun, and the conversion rate that you have with your Ready Yes client is definitely going to be higher. So think about it in terms of 20 to 30% versus when you are paying for ads, or when you're running just funnels, or when you are just emailing people. Typically a 1% conversion rate is going to come from that. And that's one of the reasons why I really love teaching a nurture events. And so that is going to be the topic today, because a nurture event is a way that you absolutely get to, number one, establish yourself as a leader in your zone of genius. Number two, it allows you to build and develop relationships and to nurture your clients. And when you do that, it makes discovery sessions irrelevant. Like, hell yeah, right? Instead of trying to just book a discovery session with somebody and then try to get them into your 90-day program from that discovery call, that's actually taking a big leap. So nurture events are a way that you can give lots of value and serve. So all of you here are heart-centered entrepreneurs. You wouldn't be in my group if you weren't. And you really love to serve and you love to nurture. And when you do a nurture event that allows you to serve and nurture with your ideal client, that gives them amazing value, it allows you to build know, like, trust with them. They get to see you, they get to hear you, they get to have an experience of you. You get to give them breakthroughs. And it also gives you a way to then offer up the next step for them. So the client pathway goes stranger, you haven't really experienced them yet, to viewer. They come into your world. Maybe they've seen a Facebook post, or they are just like saw something, or they decided that they're just not coming into your world. Maybe they downloaded a freebie. Then it goes into potential client. So maybe someone is now actively consuming some of the content, to potential lead. And a lead is somebody who is already engaging. She's asking questions, she's participating, and she is one of your Ready Yes clients. And then she moves into paying client. So that is the client pathway that I teach. And that is the beauty of nurture events. Discovery sessions, or just sales calls, like just trying to book sales calls, if you don't already have a relationship developed with your client, you're basically trying to take a stranger or a viewer into a paying client, and you're missing the important piece, which is actually building a relationship and giving you an opportunity to nurture somebody and give amazing value so that they can see the benefit of working with you, so that they can see that the natural next step for them is going to be to say yes to join you in your program or in your offer. So first, we want to have a Facebook group, and that's what we talked about on day one. And today we're going to talk about creating a nurture event. So what in the world is a nurture event? A nurture event is a specific event where you get to teach your piece of work. And for my clients, we actually help them come up with a signature framework. a signature framework. You can also call it a signature process, a proprietary process. People call it a multitude of things, but once you know that you have a framework, you're going to start seeing a lot of the coaches that you follow talk about their signature process. Everybody who is making any amount of 6 figures and above has a signature process. And it is a way to communicate with your ideal client a process that they get to go through. It is a way to deliver your zone of genius, the steps that somebody would go through with you. So for example, I have the Soulful Abundance System. I teach that system directly inside of my signature program, which is Activate Abundance. It is 6 specific steps that help you create a heart-centered 6-figure business and really create those foundations so that you are creating consistent income in your business. Other ways of nurture events that you can absolutely do, and they fall into this category, like Facebook Lives is another way that you get to nurture your audience. Challenges, there's a whole bunch of different challenges that people run out there. Most people are actually running them incorrectly, however. Mini courses like this, what I'm teaching you right now is a little mini training. It's 3 days designed to give you lots and lots and lots of value, help you create some quick wins, help you to create some momentum in your business, help you to have an experience of me. And then master classes, workshops, interviews. Those are all ways that you get to serve your client. Again, we want to deliver lots and lots and lots of value. Otherwise, you're trying to actually meet somebody right away, and you're basically asking them for the very first time that you meet them, will you marry me? It's premature marriage proposal. We don't want to be doing that. Give them an opportunity to go out and sit down and have coffee with you, because you don't even know if you want to work with them either. Right? You don't know if they're a good fit with you. So give them an opportunity to experience you, and you get to be in relationship with them too. It's a two-sided, street, right? Like you get to experience them and see if you even want to work with them. All of my clients get to cherry pick their clients. And then if it feels like the natural next step for them to work with you, then you can invite them into that. So a nurture event is going to allow you to do that, to give people, to nurture the stranger and the viewer along this pathway, so that then again, when you open up your offer, that's the natural next step for them. So you can do these Facebook Lives. I do Facebook Lives every single Monday. You can do challenges, and a lot of people do a lot of different challenges. You can invite experts into your group that also serve your audience, but in another field. So you may have seen several people that I have brought in that serve you guys here, such as Kate, who is a branding photographer. She's my personal branding photographer, and she actually did a training on how to create 90 days of content in 4 hours. Laura, Jan, all of these amazing experts that we get to bring in and introduce you, they serve people in a different way than I serve them. And so these are beautiful collaborations. And this is truly one of the best ways to build value, to serve, to teach, and to fill your programs and offers without having to be salesy, right? Again, you're being salesy if someone doesn't have an experience of you and you're trying to drag somebody across the finish line. You're trying to persuade or convince somebody. When you are serving and nurturing first, there's no need for convincing or persuading. If you're hopping on a call with somebody, somebody already knows your work. They've already had an experience of you. They already know that you've opened up enrollment for a specific program. They already know what it is that you are inviting them into. So there's no guessing games here. There's no like bait and switch. They already know what it is that you're sharing with them, and you're just giving them an opportunity to see if it's a good fit for them. So it's not salesy at all. You just get to help them make an empowered decision, which is beautiful. And one of the reasons why my clients get such great results is because it takes the feeling of being icky and salesy and slimy out of it, because you're not making it about you anymore. You're making it about your client, your potential client. How can you help her or him really make an empowered decision about whether or not this really is the next best step for them? Or maybe there's something else that's a better fit for them. Maybe you've got another offer that they want to start with instead. Totally okay. Your intention whenever you are working with somebody is not to sell them on your program, but to help them make an empowered decision about whether or not they are going to be able to get the result to the challenge or the pain point that they're experiencing. So nurture events happen inside your Facebook group. That's one of the reasons why we only want to fill our Facebook groups with our ideal client, with our ready-yes client, because what we're teaching is going to be our zone of genius. We only want to teach what it is in alignment to the results that your audience wants, right? So your ready-yes client, once you know your ideal client and you invite her into your Facebook group, we don't want to have a whole bunch of people that are not interested in what it is that you help your ideal client with. That wouldn't make sense. There wouldn't be any engagement in there, and it wouldn't serve you, it wouldn't serve them. So we really want to make sure that, again, everybody inside your Facebook group is your ideal client. So what are some of the things that you need to do to host a nurture event? So there is a very small amount of tech that's involved, but it's not high tech. We're not looking at, fancy funnels. We're not looking at creating, a bunch of upsells or downsells or complicated tech. But first, you want to have a topic that your ideal client wants to learn. So think about something from the perspective of how can you help your client get a result? Always from that perspective. That's the question whenever I'm creating something, whether it's a free handout or whether it's an offer or whether it's a workshop. The question that I start from isn't, what can I do to make money? It's, what can I do to serve my client? What can I do to help her create an epiphany or a breakthrough? What is it that she wants right now, and how can I help her get that? So think about a topic that your ideal client wants to learn. That's why, my clients want to learn, because we do our nurture events inside Facebook groups. How do we just allow Facebook groups to be simple? How do we cultivate a community organically without spending tons of money on Facebook ads or, creating all of this extra complicated tech and having to be on all of these places all the time? So Facebook groups made easy was a topic that most of my coaches and my holistic practitioners want to learn, because especially in COVID, we are in an online experience. My husband actually just sent me a text about France needing to shut down again. So, being able to serve your ideal client online is really, really important. And one of the best ways to do that is with a Facebook group. So what is a topic that your ideal client wants to learn? Number two, what is a title that's simple, that speaks to the result that your ready-yes client wants to have? So the title of this event was Facebook Groups Made Simple. You know what that is. Like, there's no guessing on what that is. I'm going to be talking about Facebook groups, and I'm going to be teaching you about how to cultivate a community inside a Facebook group. Number three, you want to have a Facebook event page inside your Facebook group. And that just allows people that are inside of your group to have another way to see what you've got going on. So just because someone is inside your Facebook group doesn't necessarily mean that they know what is going on. So create an event inside your Facebook group and share that event inside your Facebook group so people that are there can actually see it. I know I'm in several of my clients' Facebook groups, and I'm in other Facebook groups. And really, unless somebody promotes their nurture event, promotes their event, I'm not going to see it. So make sure that you are actively promoting your nurture event. Another way that you can do that is with a registration page. This is also called a landing page or an opt-in page. And I use ConvertKit for this. So I get a lot of questions. What do you use? What's your email marketing system, and what do you use for a landing page or an opt-in page or a registration page? And the platform that I use is ConvertKit. I like ConvertKit because it is my email. It allows me to email my clients as well as to send workbooks inside of a registration page that I create. So again, a registration page is just the name of your event, where someone can sign up and register for your event and get a simple workbook. And this is a game changer. It's not something that I do my nurture events without, and here's why. A simple workbook creates a couple different things. So first of all, one of them here, you can see my workbook. You can see what I'm teaching off of, and it allows me to teach directly from my workbook. So I don't have to memorize any scripts. I just get to share information from my workbook. So number one, it's going to help you stay on track. Number two, it's going to give your ideal client value, so that people can actually download something and take notes directly on the workbook. It also invites people to see what type of information they want to have. So if you notice, I'm just going to scroll up here a little bit to show you. If you notice, look at all this blank space, right? I didn't list out all 30 ways to fill your Facebook group because I want you to come, I want you to consume the information. I want you to hear what it is that I have to say because I want to give you an experience. If you don't have a workbook, then people may or may not show up. But if you have a workbook and people see, oh, I want to know what the 30 ways are, or, I want to know what is this, leading authentically and growing organically. What does this mean to connect and engage and to nurture and to offer, right? All of these are little teasers to help people see the value that you are going to be given in teaching. So your workbook is not an ebook. And it also doesn't need to be as fancy as this one either, even though I think that this is pretty simple. I just use a template. It can be a really simple one PDF sheet, but you do want to have lots of white space here. And you also want to have some fill in the blanks. So notice up here how I've got places where people can actually fill in the blanks up here in the questions, as well as to take down the notes from the questions that I've answered in this. So again, you want people to come to your nurture event. And one of the best ways to help people get to your nurture event and actually consume the information so that they can create an epiphany and a breakthrough and have an experience of you is to let them see what it is that you are going to deliver to them in your workbook. So again, I use Canva. I create all of my workbooks in Canva. And a resource that I use that I mentioned on day one was Biz Template Babe, biztemplatebabe.com. She's amazing. She has an ebook and a lead magnet little bundle that is $47. I create all of my workbooks from there. I even create my content inside of my Activate Abundance 6-month accelerator program using the template. So it's really, really great. Okay, so you want a simple workbook that you can either attach to your registration page. Again, that's one of the reasons why I love ConvertKit. You can just attach it to your registration page. So when somebody puts their name and their email address in and registers for your event, they automatically get the workbook that they can download right away. So if you registered for this event, that's exactly what you did. You gave me your name and email, and then the workbook was sent directly to you. The other thing that you want to have is one call to action that you want to make. So one offer, not 3, because it will confuse your ideal client. And you really want to be speaking to that one offer because truly every different offer that you have speaks to a slightly different client. And so you want to be really clear when you're running your nurture event that you have one call to action. And the call to action that you want to have is really up to you. There's no wrong way or right way. You just want to pick, what are you opening up enrollment for? What is the next best step for your client to take based on what it is that you're teaching them? And then the last thing that you want to have is your phone or your laptop. You know what? That's pretty simple. Like, we take a look at the 7 things that we need to have: a topic that your ideal client wants to learn, a title that's simple and speaks to results, you want to have Facebook, of course, a Facebook event page inside your group, a registration page so that they can give you their name and email address and you can give them the workbook, a simple workbook, one call to action at the end, and then your phone or laptop. So I love to use my laptop. I actually use a little webcam that I use. I don't really use my phone to do the videos because I want to be able to share my screen and have everybody see the workbook that I'm using. So I use my desktop and I use a little webcam, but you can certainly use your phone, not a big deal. Awesome. So let's dive into some of the nitty-gritty, some of the details of running an actual nurture event. So most of the work in around a nurture event is going to happen before your actual event. Because in order to have a successful nurture event, you need to have people, right? You need to have people who are going to be wanting to learn what it is that you have to say. So that's one of the reasons why I shared with you 30 ways to fill your Facebook group. Because if you don't have people to teach to, you don't have a ready yes audience, there's no way that you're going to be able to fill your programs. So, right? It's like, duh. Like, of course, we want to have our people. So most of this is going to come before. That means you also want to promote your event often. So it's not like you're going to be like, hey, everybody, come join me on this event, and you're just going to post that once. You want to promote that often, because here's the truth. It takes people between 7 to 17 times to take action on something. So the first time they might see it, they might be like, oh, that's pretty cool. But yet not do anything, right? Like we all do that, right? Oh, that looks neat. I'm going to come back to it later, but we never do. And so we see it again. We're like, oh yeah, that's right. She's doing that thing. I'm going to look into that, but I'm doing something right now, right? And then you still don't do it. So you see it again. You're like, oh yeah, that's right. I see that in her banner. I want to do that. So again, you need to give people an opportunity to see your event in multiple ways. So it's not just about sharing just the event page and that's it, and just sharing it in your Facebook group. You want to promote your event often, even to the point where you feel like surely people are getting sick of me talking about this. And I know that I share this and I tell my clients this all the time, but even though I spend a good 3 weeks to a month promoting an event that I do. I didn't really do a lot of promoting with this one. Honestly, I had just come off sharing my 6 steps to a heart-centered 6-figure practice. And I really just felt called to teach this. So I wasn't focused on really getting a lot of people to come to the nurture event here. I really wanted this to be something I just was serving inside my personal Facebook group. But I remember promoting one time for a month, and I changed my banner and I sent out emails to my email list often. And I did post on my personal Facebook page, and I did post in my personal group, and I did post on my business page. And I actually had a friend who just showed up live, and she's like, oh, I didn't know you were doing this. I was like, what? No way. Like, how could you, she's a friend of mine. Like, this is not a stranger. She's a friend of mine. She is in my Facebook group. She sees the banner. She gets my emails, right? So all of that to say that it's not hard. It's not difficult. You just have to get out of the mind trash that's telling you that you're bugging people, right? We feel like we're bugging people because we're promoting it often, but you're not bugging people because people aren't seeing it. Really, only 1 in 5 people are seeing your stuff. So it's important to promote, and often. Okay, where do you host your nurture event? There are many ways to host a nurture event. One is you can just do a Facebook Live inside your group. And you guys saw me do that in 6 steps to a heart-centered 6-figure practice. The other thing that you can do is a Facebook Live inside of Zoom, like I'm doing right now. And I'm streaming it to my Facebook group. So we've got people that are here live, that they get to ask me questions, and I'm going to be able to answer their questions. And we've got people in the Facebook group that can watch it or watch the replay and ask me questions in the comments. Really, there's no right or wrong way. Choose a way that allows you to connect and engage your audience. So, so important. Barb, yeah.
So when you say you're saying to do it inside of your group, I get that piece. Would you do anything on your personal page to attract any more of your people at this before you do your event? Would you do anything more?
Yeah, so you're talking about promoting your event.
Yeah.
Yes. You're going to make a post on your personal page. You're going to actually write several posts. You're going to share, maybe a picture of your workbook. That's one of the things Jessica and I were actually talking about today. Is the cool thing about Canva is you can actually, I'm just going to scroll up here to show you guys here. You can actually download your very first page as a PNG, which is a photo, and you can share it. So you can just share this as a picture and say, hey, I'm doing this cool thing. Facebook groups made simple. Who wants in? Who wants to learn how to authentically and organically grow and lead a highly engaged Facebook group that converts to Dreamboat clients? So you can share that. So yeah, the promotional piece does happen on your personal Facebook page, but here's the cool thing, is that your nurture event doubles as a way to invite people and to grow your group as well. So when you're sharing that you're going to be doing an event, like when I shared, hey, come join me for this Facebook Groups Made Simple event, when they got their workbook, and they also received an email saying, hey, be sure to join the Facebook group because this is where all the magic is happening. So I'm not doing this live on my personal page. In order for people to actually participate in the workshop and get this information, they have to be inside my Facebook group. So it's a way to build your Facebook group, and it's also a way for you to serve and nurture the people that are already there. And it's also a way to attract your readiest client, right? Yeah. Great question. Any other questions, Barb? No? Cool. Okay, so things to keep in mind. Promote your event for a good 3 weeks before your start date. And here's why. You need to know your numbers. There really only about 30% of people will show up. And that is high, on the high end, right? So about 30% of the people that actually register for your event are going to actually show up for your event. So think about that. If you want, for example, I'm just going to keep this math really, really simple for me. If I wanted to enroll, say, 10 people into my next group experience program, then I would have to understand that if I had 100 people register for my event, only 30 of those people are going to actually show up. And out of that 30%, the conversion rate, if we take a look on the high end of 30%, is 10, right? So we want to understand that only 30% of the people are actually going to show up. And then out of the 30% that show up, on the high end, anywhere between 20 to 30% of those people are going to convert. But that's still an amazing conversion rate. Like that's a high conversion rate, and it is highly, highly profitable. So here's the thing that you guys might not know. And that is, when you see all of these Facebook ads and you see all of these coaches that are, building and running 7-figure businesses, they're actually not necessarily as profitable as, they're doing really good if they are working at anywhere between a 60 to a 70% profitability rate in their business. When you're running and you're building your business organically, you don't have to spend money. You're using your time to build and develop relationships, but you don't have to spend money on that, which means that this is a very highly profitable way to build and grow a 6-figure, multi-6-figure, even 7-figure business that's put your profit rate 75, 80% and above. I know my profitability is above 80%. So, and that is also because of your conversion rates, right? So when you are building and developing relationships with people, when you are giving people an experience of you, when you are serving people, then those people are more likely to say yes to working with you because they've had an experience, they've gotten a breakthrough, they've seen how you can support them, they understand what it is that you do and how you can help them have a solution to their problem. Versus email marketing, 1% conversion rate. Sending somebody to a pre-recorded webinar is also a lower conversion rate because it's not live. It's not live. So, the idea that all we have to do is make a pre-recorded webinar to send people to, and they'll automatically enroll into our evergreen program is not real numbers. That's not really the way that it works. First of all, you need to have a really large audience. Again, if you want to sell, let's just say you want to sell, $10,000 in a month, and you only have a 1% conversion rate, think about, number one, what is the price of your offer and how many people do you need to get in front of, which means you're also spending money on advertising. So again, we're getting complicated now, right? We're having to add more and more things to do. And as a solo entrepreneur, the last thing that we want to do is really have to spend all of our time doing all of these things. Instead, let's just have a simple, repeatable strategy that's heart-centered, that delivers value, that nurtures your audience, and then give them a way to work with you. So knowing our numbers, you get to promote daily through your posts or your content that is congruent with your event. And this is important. You want to, again, if you're posting about how to have, I'm just going to, since Jessica and Barbara are here, if you want to post around better digestion, you're not going to start sharing information about how to make the best barbecue, right? Like that's not relevant. It's not valuable. It's not congruent. It's not what your ideal client is looking for. So promote daily by sharing valuable, relevant, congruent information that is also going to invite people into the event, giving them a piece of the puzzle. So one of the things that I like to, or an analogy that I like to use for this is, think about the work that you do and everything that you do to support a client to have a transformation as a big box of puzzle, like a 1,000-piece puzzle, right? There's a lot of different things that we do with our client over the course of our work together. Your content, the content that you create, is like taking one piece of the puzzle and just sharing a piece of your work and just talking about the importance and the value of just a piece of your work. So we get to let it, again, be really, really simple. Just share a piece of your work and then invite them to have a deeper understanding and a deeper experience of your framework inside of a nurture event. Barbara.
So when we run our nurture events, promote for 3 weeks, and then most nurture events, I've noticed yours are anywhere from 3 to 5 days. So we run a nurture event 3 to 5 days. And then how long after that should we promote for our group or event? Like,
are you talking about your offer?
Or our offer, our master, or if we're going to do like a master class or something like that?
Yeah, well, okay, so your nurture event is your master class.
Oh, okay. So many names for these things.
No.
At least I feel that way.
Yeah, so your nurture event is your master class. So like this is a nurture event and this is also a mini course. So your mini course or your training could be 3, 5, actually mine are actually longer. Mine actually run about 9 days because I have my master classes run around 9 days because I want to add in a time for people to catch up. So there's like a replay day in there. There's also a day in there for people to, I take off Sundays. I also have a day where I might have a client come in and talk about, success stories that they've had. So the time period is actually something that you and I will work with together, Barbara, to determine what is going to be the best fit for you. So we'll take a look at that for sure. But it doesn't have to just be 9 days. It doesn't have to just be 1 day. It doesn't have to just be 3 days. But the key is that if you're using your nurture event to enroll into your next offer, then you do want to give people an experience of you. And just one 1 hour experience of you is not consistent enough to really give people an understanding of your work.
Okay.
Yeah. So you're going to promote your nurture event. Another way to call it is your masterclass. You're going to promote that for a month. And then you're going to invite people to work with you within the context of your nurture event. And that is something that I teach inside the Activate Abundance program. It's also something that I give all of my clients access to. So, there's actually a nurture event cheat sheet. We're actually going to be working on this next week, Barbara, which is how do you set it up? And what do you teach on day 1? What do you teach on day 2? What do you teach on day 3? When do you open up enrollment? So we're going to go through all of that. And that is something that I really reserve for people inside Activate Abundance. So I don't want to go into all of those details here, but you and I will definitely cover that for sure.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So you get to share with others also who may know people who your event could serve. So again, we're back to collaborations, right? Who are people that may know other people that your event could serve? So, Samantha Schmuck, she is a associate coach inside or an expert inside Activate Abundance. So she shared, the 6 steps to a 6-figure heart center practice. And I will share any event that she does too. So you get to collaborate and share with others so that you can increase your audience. Collaborating with other holistic practitioners to promote your event. So you can also, invite your clients to share, right? So invite people to bring a friend. That would be a really good fit. The more the merrier. And you always want to serve, serve, serve before making your offer. But don't forget to make your offer, right? Like serve, 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 but don't leave people hanging on Pain Island. Like if you tell them that you're going to bring out this amazing dessert, you have to bring out the dessert and make the offer. The analogy that I used yesterday was the brownies. If you're inviting people to a party and you're telling them, oh my gosh, I've got these amazing brownies and I can't wait to share them with you, and you never bring the brownies out, that's the same thing as never making your offer, never giving people an opportunity to work with you, never giving people an opportunity to take the next step. So having and running a nurture event, plus having a yes offer that is perfect, that is going to serve your ideal clients, is going to equal your ready yes clients. And so my offer here, and what I shared with you yesterday, was we do have a couple more spaces left inside of the April cohort of Activate Abundance. And so if you want to learn how to actually put together a nurture event that speaks to your Ready Yes client with a title and an offer and a price point, and know all of the things that you can do personally to invite into your program and your offer, that is what I teach inside Activate Abundance. We get you really clear on your ideal client, on your programs, on your offers, on your framework. We get you to build and establish the foundations of your practice so that you can put this system and strategy on repeat. And that is really what is allowing us to make it a simple and repeatable system and strategy. Instead of having to create new things all the time, you get to create a nurture event that is your signature nurture event. You get to put that on repeat, which means you get to put your landing page on repeat, which means you get to reuse your workbook, which means you get to create all of this once, but you get to keep it simple and keep doing it so that you can hone and master your craft and hone and master your nurture event. So think about your nurture event as like a signature talk, right? Many of you have been through Health Coach Institute, and there was the sugar talk, right? That was a signature talk, and you were taught and given the script for doing a sugar talk live. So sugar talk is a signature talk. It's something that you could put on repeat and do over and over and over again. A nurture event is how you share your zone of genius to allow people to then take the next step with you. Awesome. So Monday, we're going to come back and we're going to do a bonus Q&A session. And I absolutely want to support you with any questions, any ahas, any insights that you have that you would like me to answer. I'm happy to hop on this bonus Q&A session. If you have a question, you are more than welcome to leave it in the comments. But really what we focused on today is how are we cultivating a community that converts online by using Facebook groups? And are there moving pieces? Yes, but we still get to make them simple. And once you understand that this is a simple and repeatable strategy, and once you have support in helping you fine tune and hone all of this, then you just get to keep doing it over and over again, which is beautiful. All right. So it makes it easy. I don't know. I know sometimes people are like, well, let me just try this one thing and it doesn't work. Well, you want to have it so that you do it on, you want to have something that's repeatable, because nobody does it perfect or amazing or knocks it out of the park on the first time. It is something that you learn and you tweak and you pivot and you course correct and you try it and you're like, oh, that was really fun. I really liked this part. And I wasn't really too happy with this part. Let me change that. And you hone it until you master it. And then it becomes natural and it becomes easy. So send me a personal message if you would like to hop on a quick call, or if you want to have a quick chat in Messenger about joining me for one of the last spaces inside Activate Abundance. I'm happy to share with you whether or not that's going to be a good fit. Or you can just join me back here on Monday too. So I hope everybody has an amazing week. I hope this was valuable for you. That really is my intention, that you can take some of these pieces and learn, how you can implement them. But I also want you to know that what you have is information. What you don't yet have is the actual implementation, right? So I want you to know that this information needs to be implemented in order to work. It's not something that we can just think about taking action on these pieces is important, and having support so that you can take the right steps at the right time in the right order is actually what I offer inside the Activate Abundance program. And Jessica and Barbara, you guys, I'm so glad you're here. Do you guys have any questions before we pop off?
Not that pertain this. Do we have prophecy tomorrow or no?
No. No.
Just
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. Next week. Yeah. Jessica, any questions? You good? Cool. All right, ladies. Well, if you are here in Facebook, definitely type in hashtag replay or hashtag live. Normally, I ask you guys to do that in the beginning just so that I can see and hear where you are. If you have a question about anything that I've covered today, pop it in the comments section. Otherwise, I will see everybody back here at 1 o'clock Eastern time here in the Facebook group. And again, feel free to use the exact same Zoom link that you got when you registered for Facebook Groups Made Simple. So it's the same Zoom link, it's the same passcode, and you can join me here and we can actually have a conversation. I can see you, you can see me, and yeah, I just love that. All right, ladies, have a great Easter. Have a great Holy Week. If you're celebrating Holy Week, enjoy time with your family, and I will see you guys next Monday.
Okay, thanks.
Bye.